Now, on our second lead story, Morocco left the African Union, the then OAU, in 1984 as a protest against the admission of the self-proclaimed Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, or the SADR, a Polisario group at the time, now as a member. Now, Morocco officially filed a request to rejoin the African Union in September, and the move has been supported by 28 countries which submitted a motion to the organization and called for the freezing of Polisario's membership in the AU. Meanwhile, pundits are saying that this move of the reintegration of the African Union will enable to unveil the artificial nature of the Moroccan-Sahara conflict.
King of Morocco, Mohammed VI, began on Wednesday in Rwanda a tour in East Africa with the aim of opening up to this region that has often been neglected by the Moroccan kingdom, and also to defend its candidacy to the African Union, having officially registered in September. And from the first day of this visit, Rwanda's Foreign Affairs Minister declared that his country was in favor of Morocco returning to the African Union. According to some observers, Morocco is trying to convince the 53 member states, one after the other, to recognize the sovereignty of Morocco over Western Sahara, a position that has been repeatedly rejected by Algeria.
Aziz Saidi, to help us look this deeper, Morocco has pledged to return to the African Union. This is 32 years later, Aziz. Why now, and why do you think there is this motivation behind the move?
D'abord, il faudrait peut-être clarifier les choses. C'est pas un retour dans l'Union africaine.
First, we must clarify some things. It's not the return of Morocco to the African Union. Morocco was part of the Organization of the African Unity, OAU, and the African Union only came into existence in 2001. So in this case, Morocco was never part of the African Union. But why come back on the issue of the African Agora? I think that it is natural geographically. It's an African country. It has its place in the Pan-African bodies. I think that in recent years it has been working very closely with the Francophone countries in Africa, Central Africa, although it also went outside the Pan-African institutions.
L'Afrique francophone et l'Afrique centrale, qui se passait certes en dehors des institutions panafricaines.
And time has come for it to officially participate in African proceedings to promote cooperations in the South, and that the voice of Africans be heard by all African countries.
Et pour justement défendre, pour que la voix des Africains soit portée par tous les pays africains.
Now, Aziz, the move was majorly based on their protest against the admission of Western Sahara to the AU. Its request to rejoin right now is still subject to the suspension of the Sahrawi Republic.
Comme vous l'avez dit, le Maroc a quitté l'organisation de l'Union africaine au début des années 80 parce que cette organisation avait reconnu.
As you have said, Morocco left the African Union in the early 80s because the organization had recognized one thing that Morocco could not tolerate, because for us it was a Moroccan territory. It's a matter of terminology. You're talking about Western Sahara in Morocco. We talk about the Moroccan Sahara. Now, the integration of Morocco in the African Union will help settle this problem inside, and even the African Agora. And it is clear that for Rabat, it's out of the question to sit next to a so-called state. But the real politics requires that we defend its interests within the Pan-African bodies.
Mais la réelle politique veut qu'on défende nos arguments au sein même d'instances panafricaines.
Now, Aziz, lastly, just to finalize on this, do you think there's going to be a tug of war between, or rather within the AU, between Morocco and Algeria? They don't drink on the same cup over several issues, and the Western Sahara is one of the most contentious on this.
Non, le Maroc et l'Algérie ne sont pas des ennemis, ce sont des pays frères.
Morocco and Algeria are not enemies, they are brother countries. They are certainly opponents on this issue, but they are still brother countries. Now, in regards to Morocco's presence in Africa, it is recognized. In the royal tours, especially in West Africa, Central Africa, and now in East Africa, there are economic relations which have been established. The presence of Moroccan operators at the level of the financial sectors, real estate services or new technology, these areas are present and they are particularly growing in Francophone Africa. With this tour that will touch Rwanda, Tanzania and Ethiopia, Morocco wants to extend this economic cooperation to other African countries, including in the Horn of Africa.
Le Maroc entend agir sa coopération économique à d'autres zones africaines et notamment la Corne de l'Afrique. Donc, par rapport à l'Algérie,
coming back to Algeria, I think it's just a political antagonism. I think it's a very important momentum that Morocco wants to take advantage of. To make its case, a multi-sectoral partnership will have to be proposed and which will head for a win-win cooperation.
Il propose donc un partenariat multisectoriel et qui propose des choses qui vont dans le sens de la construction d'une coopération win-win.
Well, thank you very much, Aziz. Aziz Saidi talking to us from Rabat in the country. Now, King Mohammed VI said that previously, or rather, he said Morocco's return to the African Union, which requires approval through a vote within the Union's Commission, did not mean the country backtracked on its territorial claims in the Western Sahara. But if you want these details of such, go to africanews.com and also engage us on the hashtag The Morning Call on Twitter, at Africanews and at AfricaNewsFR if you listen to what